Disney
Alan,
Plus Snap.
what's that?
Did you hear that? Did you hear the Disney Plus Snap?
No. I guess that's a positive test from Alan. Ryan, go ahead and give us a test.
Check, check. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Finally.
Perfect.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saber Martial Arts Podcast. As you might have heard, we have Sifu Allen with us, of course, and we have, for the second week in a row now, finally, with a little more success, we have Ryan from the Saber Light Knights with us. Say hello, Ryan.
Howdy, everybody. Thanks for having me.
So, no, obviously, it's our pleasure. Go ahead and give us because you've been on before. You were on for the Saber Mayhem episode, and I believe you were on a couple years ago. But I've been on the fight nights that you guys do on YouTube. So go ahead and give us a short little intro to yourself and your involvement with Saber Light Knights.
So I've been doing this for about 6 years at this point. Started in February with a free class with Saber Light Knights back in the day. And now I'm on the council and the taskmaster for them. So I help set up all the events and things like that, specifically Praxeum, trying to shop out some of the smaller events and give other people opportunities to do the same thing. But I travel the country fighting a lot of people with glow sticks.
Yay.
Yeah, and Ryan is kind of like a new age Saberborg, Alan. Would you say he's kind of showing up all over the place like you tend to do? So he's like Saberborg 2.0 almost.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a prototype, all the bad, all the bugs got kicked out, and I turned into Ryan, so it worked out.
Oh man. Ryan is one of the we've known Ryan for a long time. He's been a tremendous, just a positive, not to sound too cliche, but a positive force in the Saber community. Just somebody who is always around, happy to help, happy to participate with kind of anybody's version of what they like to do with lightsabers. So in addition to that, a lot of the events that Saber Light Knights does, Ryan is at the helm for a lot of them. If he's not Han Soloing them, he's Chewbacca-ing them, or vice versa. So I know that Courtney has expressed on many occasions, both on the show and off, that a lot of what they do would not be possible without you. And I know that he depends on you quite a bit, especially as his family grows, and your family's growing too. So I expressed last week when we were recording with Courtney, I don't know where you get all the time and energy to do all the things you do, raising goats and sheeps and tractors on the farm and little children and raising tractors. That's right. Like, you must live in the only part of Virginia there where there's 30 hours in a day. So I don't know how you do it, but you do it all, and you still manage to be good at martial arts too. So really quickly, Ryan, is saber fighting your only martial art experience? Or I mean, you and I have talked about this before, but for anybody who's never heard you on the show before, is saber fighting your only martial art experience, or did you have some prior training in addition to it?
So definitely my only martial art experience. Street fighting would not count. 30 years of lacrosse would be the closest I got to martial arts. But when you can put the point where you need to be at the right time, and that teaches you measure too, it translates very well.
Yeah.
Actually, Charlie Cummings, the owner of the Saber Legion, was also a lacrosse player, and we enjoy sitting down and talking about it. One time we were up at a Starfighter in Maryland, and it was in a indoor arena where there was guys playing lacrosse, like bouncing the balls off the walls and all that during the tournament. And both of us were just like kind of standing to the side, just kind of drooling, like, damn, did we miss that?
Well, if there is a sport where martial arts and like ball sport combine, it's hockey, and if there's another one, it's lacrosse. So
Right.
I think the only thing that really separates it is that fighting is not technically legal in any instances in lacrosse, correct?
Correct. You can hit people, but not with your
you
fists.
can't actually throw fisticuffs at any point.
Yeah,
But
you
other
get
than
penalties for that.
I think lacrosse is a great transition. And when I was before the advent of the polycarbonate lightsabers, we used to use lacrosse sticks a lot in the backyard as lightsaber proxies. Some of those lacrosse sticks, man, they have a real good balance if you treat them like a lightsaber. So anyway.
Yeah, I spent a year trying to merge the two, and actually I've got a pike here that weighs about 10 pounds because my brother put it together. He's very handy, but he used steel on a titanium shaft, and an Ultra Saber screws into it. And I gave that to Michael Sprague one time, and he hit me with it. And I was like, all right, nobody's using that ever again.
Oh my god! Yeah, that sounds like a weapon of war to use colloquial speech, as it were. That's really funny. Yeah, we used to use the long poles, the defense long poles, to do our Darth Maul practice and stuff. Lots of fun. Brings back memories. So we're going to do the Praxeum War Day 2 video. So for anybody listening, obviously I will link the video in the show description, but if that's not your style, if you're not the clicking links type of do it the easy way person, you can go onto YouTube, search for Saber Light Knights YouTube page, and you're looking for the video that says Praxeum War Day 2. Now, Ryan, before we start, at 8:18 on the dial, 8 minutes and 18 seconds on the dial, what are we going to be watching tonight? What are we in for?
So this will be the Mixed Weapons Division. It'll be continuous fighting, meaning that the clock does not stop. It's not counted points. Like with the scorecard, you've got a judge on each side and then a director. The judges are using clickers to count the points as they see them. The director's just basically trying to keep everybody safe and make sure it doesn't turn into a brawl. And that's how we do it. So the fighters do not really know what the score is. They may have an idea, but they don't know the final verdict until everything is counted together at the end. Basically, with hands and arms, saber, hilt, that's 1 point. You get 2 points for torso, 1 point for legs, and then if you get a parry or a post, it would be 3 points. And remember, since you have 2 judges, all of those actually count double. So each parry or post is actually 6 points. The year before, we did it with 4 people, but then each thing was like,
that's a lot of numbers.
12 points is a lot of points, and things add up very quickly. So we knocked it down to 2 judges. I really think that's all you need. Helps make things run smoother, more efficiently, and you get the same result.
So if anybody didn't listen to the previous episode of this show, we had the Saber Light Knights headmaster and founder Courtney Monroe on last time, and they used the same rule set for the standard single saber division, which is what we did with Courtney. So I highly recommend, if you have not listened to that episode, hit pause here, go listen to that one, then pick this one back up. Like I said, we're going to start this at 8:18 on the dial. And when we talk about exotic weapons, that could be anything that's not your normal single standard 3-foot saber, we'll say. That could be dual wielding or jarkai. That could be saber staff or double bladed saber. That could be pike and spear. If you want to get crazy and use, saber scythe, like Alan always likes to talk about, or, 3-section saber. I'm just kidding. No, in all seriousness, it's anything that can legally be used. In other words, like, that's not going to be a total danger to anybody who, like, light whips are generally not legal in these types of divisions, but most other types of fantasy sabers, if you can make them work realistically, or in air quotes realistically, then they're legal. So is there anything that a lot of times we see a prevalence of one or two types of weapons? Ryan, would you say there was a prevalence of any specific weapon, or are we in for a good variety?
You're in for a good variety, but I saw more people using pikes than I would have expected.
Okay.
There was a lot of dual wield, cross guard, and then pikes made a pretty good showing. There was see a couple of staffs. The problem with the staff with our rule set is hilts count. So if you're holding it on both sides, if someone's intelligent, all they got to do is just strike down the middle, and they'll at least get 1 point that way.
Is that what surprised you about the pike usage? Is because of the hilt rule?
It didn't really surprise me. It really takes somebody who's very skilled with the pike to do well.
Yeah.
The first time we ran it like this, actually, I won it with a pike, and Vince Stelvecchio, who's another good pike fighter, got second. So it can be done.
Right.
But if you know how to fight against it, that's a lot of shaft to hit.
Yes, correct.
So,
and a lot of rule sets don't count. I don't know for the life of me why in all of our SMA rule sets we count the hilt, but a lot of pike rule sets don't count the hilt for that reason, because I guess the reasoning would be like too many points can add up too quickly, or it makes it that much more difficult on the pike fighter. But if the hilt doesn't count, then there's like a gross advantage to the spear and pike fighter, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, well that's why for like 4 years there in TSL, in the heavy exotics division, it was all pike fighters, because unless you really want to just have fun, you weren't going to win unless you had a pike in your hands. Now they've adjusted things down, and I mean it's a little bit more even. There's actually staff fighters who are doing quite well, like Alec Martinez and Chris Besserell. Chris Besserell and I fought in the finals of Kyber Open Exotic Division last year, and he's fantastic.
Well, I'm excited. We're gonna let me get my dial back to 818 here, because my TV yelled at me and said, "You waited too long, homie." 16, 17, 18. Perfect. Okay, so we're paused here. I'm really excited. I'm gonna go turn this fireplace off real quick, because it's probably causing interference. Give me 3 seconds. Beep beep borp. Okay, that was more like 5 seconds, but we're good. Okay, we're gonna start. We'll do 3, 2, 1, go, because I know that's the question everybody's gonna ask. We'll do 3, 2, 1, go. 8:18 on the dial. Praxeum War Day 2 on the Saberlight Knights YouTube channel, linked below if you're lazy like me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Boom. So Ryan, walk us through this first set of combatants. Who do we have here?
Looks like David Cook using a pike and Michael Sprague using a crossguard.
Is that a pike or a double blade? I can't tell.
It is a pike.
Okay,
it's actually my pike, so I know exactly what it is. It's my pike and my crossguard fighting each other.
Alan, look at this. Look at this. A true spear, a true pike. Eric wouldn't be happy unless it was 10 feet long, but a true ratio of hilt to blade. Thank you for that, Ryan. I appreciate that quite a bit. Nothing drives me more nuts than a pike that's 50% hilt and 50% blade. This is going to be good. So we got Sprague with a cross guard. Looks almost like a little bit of a greatsword, a little bit of extra length on his blade, maybe. Of course.
Yeah, it's a Mando cross guard.
Okay.
And
what's
David
the
Cook.
dimensions on that?
Oh, jeez.
It looks like he's got at least a 40-inch blade in
head.
there, if not maybe a little longer.
It's not 40 inches.
It's not? No, you don't think so?
No. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, anything in his hands looks tinier, so
Right.
it's hard to tell.
David Cook's one of our newer fighters. He started, I guess, about 4 or 5 months ago, but he's learning really fast. He does have some martial art experience, too.
So did Courtney direct all of these matches, or did you do some of them? Is it like how did that work?
Courtney directed all the matches. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty close.
And then you're judging on the side there. It looks like Chico's judging as well.
Yep.
A small note that in Saberlight Knights rules, both hands have to be on the weapon in order for them to score. So David, even though he has the extension, is not scoring when he lets go with one hand.
Oh, yeah. Correct. I remember Courtney explaining that rule to me, which He would totally laugh if I mentioned this. We had a little bit of a disagreement. It was not violent at all, but a little bit of a disagreement on that rule at first. And then when he explained it to me, just like the way that he had seen people losing control when they take their other hand off of it. And something that I had never really thought about, that I guess he had seen at one of your guys' events, was somebody taking their hand off and swinging with their hand on the pommel end, like swinging all like 5-6 feet of the pike at people in a slashing motion, which is to me like incredibly ludicrous.
Right.
But I guess people were doing it. So it looks like Sprag is trying to get through just that initial 2 feet of blade, 18 inches of blade, which is, that's the idea against the pike, but he's not hilt hunting as much as I thought maybe he would.
Well, to be fair, all he's got to do is extend his arm, and it is Sprag. So he's like 6'5". So he extends his arm, and it is as long as that pike.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of elbow shots with it too. So maybe that's the target of choice.
Yeah.
He's also being very counter active. He's not actually going in for it. He's waiting for David to do his move, and then coming in.
Generally, we see him push the offense a little bit, but I guess against that pike, it becomes a little more challenging for him, even with all that length.
Well, and you have to know your fighter too. So Sprague really hates getting hit in the head, so he's not going to go.
Oh, does he?
In the head.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I don't blame him, especially all the way up there. You're going to hit him in the head, man. That's a way up. You got to take an elevator to get there. All right, so who's going to win this one? Sprague wins.
Yeah. David put up a good fight, though. I mean,
yeah,
for somebody
man,
who has very limited pike experience, he did quite well.
And for the first match, like there was some good, like you could definitely tell they're trying to feel each other out, figure out what's going to happen. And you see Courtney there. If you just saw him kind of explaining the two hands rule, it looked like, which is, it never seems like anybody's doing those kind of things to like on purpose, like nobody's trying to cheat, but right. It does help to clarify those things in the moment. So that's good that Courtney took a second to do that. And as a combatant, you appreciate when somebody like doesn't come down on you for breaking a rule you didn't really know or understand you were breaking. You're just like, hey man, you got to do it this way instead. That helps. It doesn't make you feel like a doofus. So who do we have next coming up? Do you know? Looks like
I do not even remember.
Looks like somebody's got armor on.
Well, we were also, I believe, were you running 2 rooms, Ryan?
No, for this we ran just one.
Oh, just one. Okay, I thought there were 2 rooms for this.
Looks like maybe Vince is getting ready on the left there.
This is a single elimination, so you lose.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it was a jam-packed weekend of action, so I get my memories crossed sometimes.
Yeah,
it was kind of a blur for me too.
Well, just like we said last week with Courtney, the amount of fights that everybody has, that's what really makes it that much more fun, and it makes it easier to have all that activity.
Right.
Oh, there's Alan in his armor over there.
Yeah, I'm just figuring out who's fighting next. I want to say.
Oh, actually, hold on. I've got this right in front of me.
I was like, I want to say there was a bracket somewhere, and I remember seeing it the night before and going,
I feel like
it'll be a lot of fun.
I feel like maybe somebody has a technical issue or an equipment issue, because I'm not accustomed to you guys spending this long between matches. Usually,
I think we were waiting for West Virginia at this point. They hadn't quite shown up yet, and we were kind of worried that we were going to have to
mess with the brackets.
I can just tell by Ryan's body language in the video that like he's like anxious to get the match going.
Well, Anthony's there, so one of the West Virginia boys is there.
Yeah, I saw Anthony Noah just come in. I think the next one is Noah Klein versus Roland, but we'll see.
Oh, that explains. Roland is getting ready, it looks like. and Noah had just gotten in there. So yeah, he's putting in on his armor right there.
So did Roland not compete in the single saber division, or did he not get through the pool? Or did he?
Oh, we remember we watched only the second half of that day because there were so many fights.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Roland,
he wasn't intending to compete either day, but I tossed him in there anyway.
Yeah.
And you too, Alan, because we didn't see you fight in that video.
Yeah, I was in the first half. That was the first half of the video.
Okay.
And then here is, because we had a lot of stuff that we had to do beforehand too. We had classes before.
So who's the Jarkai fighter on the right there, Ryan?
That's Roland.
Roland, okay.
Who has a background in Eskrima,
Pikiti Tirsia, general fencing. I think.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. And Noah is a newer fighter out of West Virginia, TSL, the Kyber Knights. And he's going to make some waves once he gets his speed under him. He's quick, he's fast.
Once I want you to watch him, especially when we do foam. Mark, his knife fight was very entertaining.
I'm interested automatically.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Commander about doing commentary on that one.
Yep, I'll send him a text tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we got Roland on the left, and you said his name was
Noah Klein.
Noah on the right.
He's on the right
with the double-bladed saber. An interesting choice, as Ryan had mentioned, because a lot of detriment to the user with the double-bladed saber. It takes a lot of skill,
right.
Or a lot of luck, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Both is preferable. And Roland with the Jarkai, you can already see that Filipino styling with Roland, just the constant motion.
Well, in the footwork.
And I can I don't even have the volume on. I can just hear Roland like, excellent, so good, like complimenting the other fighter the whole time. That's Roland, man. It's like another like 100% positive force. Also, did Roland lose like 200 pounds? Not that he was that big before, but he looks like super skinny.
Oh yeah, he's trimmed down.
Man,
yeah, he's looking good, Roland. So you can see Courtney had told them to back off as soon as they get hit because they were just rolling in there.
Yeah, they're kind of steamrolling each other a bit.
Yeah. So again, in this rule set, as soon as you hit, you want to take 2 steps back and then re-engage.
Yeah. Well, when we did the light fencing commentary, there was that match with me and from Pennsylvania, Mason. And Mason's from Michigan.
You and Taylor.
Taylor, yes. I guess Mason too. And where everybody in the room was like, "Oh my gosh, like you guys are really hitting each other." And it seems like Roland's kind of doing what I was doing, which is just try to protect himself at the same volume as he's being attacked, if that makes sense. Right. But he's got a very Ataru defense. Like he's defending with strikes. He's not defending with blocks.
Right.
He's keeping his blades in front. Yeah, he's fighting almost more like almost like he's holding a single saber with like a butt spike. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I guess is kind of a smart way to do it.
Well, you can use one-handed on the
double-bladed saber.
On the double-bladed staff, yeah. So that's a good way to get a little bit more range, especially if you run into a pike.
I got respect for both these guys. Balls on the right there to use the double-bladed saber, and Roland, man, just always game. Always game. It's a fun fight. Those are the kind of fights we like to see anyway, right? Like as many lightsabers as you can fit in your hands. That's what we want to see. It's cool. Good job, Roland. Nice. Roland takes the match. Very good. That was a hard match to judge, honestly, because there was a lot of both of them attacking at the same time. But good on Roland. And now I see Vince is definitely ready. He must be
now you can
fighting
see
next.
a pike master.
And I'm
Yeah,
guessing
Vincent's
he
been
probably
fighting
made that pike
for a
himself.
while.
He did make it himself.
Yep.
Shabby sabers.
And another
He does
another good
a lot
ratio
of
of
carbon fiber work.
Yes. Which is not super common, but becoming more common.
His have held up. I mean, we put him through the Chico test,
Yeah.
and I don't think Chico's broken one of them yet.
There you go. I like that. The Chico test. I like that. No, Vince, you can see there the ratio of hilt to blade. I love it. And this is another thing that Courtney and I had talked about many times over the years, that I know he and I pretty much see eye to eye on. But it's so nice to see so many people understanding what a spear should look like. It doesn't sound so stupid, but you see so many spears that are not spears, and there you go.
Oh. I got a staff versus a pike.
Yeah, this is Anthony from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a severe handicap to that double-bladed saber. Very, very easily. So we'll see how he defends his hilt and his hands.
Anthony's a pretty dynamic fighter.
Yeah, he's willing to go for it, which is really cool to watch.
He's got that Savage press look with all that height with the double-bladed saber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Poor Vince, man. Good thing he's got.
Anthony with the Steven Universe shirt, Vince with the Sheik from Legend of Zelda face mask, and just going constantly, changing levels and changing targets. Keeping Anthony on the defense.
Yeah, he's fly fishing with that pike. Mm-hmm. And I mean that as a compliment. Constantly casting into the correct target.
Right.
And the correct target's always changing, right? So that's where the real tactics come in. And to be honest, what's his name in the red? Tell me again. Anthony? He, like I said, he does not have that was a nice little upward into the poke. He does not have a small feat against him. This is quite a feat to go against that. And Vince, not being that tall, is understanding that his weapon needs to do all of that catch up for him. Mm-hmm. He's using that weapon length very well while still having both hands on the weapon, right?
Yep. Right. It was a pike or a spear fighter in Daga here, so
okay, yeah, that's right.
He's got some experience with
that
this.
To me. Yep.
That was nice.
Ooh. Yeah, Anthony's got some good control over that saber. Especially, I was looking at his gloves; they look a little bulky, and he's still managing to have a decent amount, a nice strike, decent amount of control. Vince, you got to charge your saber, homie.
It is on.
It's just very dim.
It's very dim. We check several times, before every match.
Oh, man. Good match. They almost cancel each other out because the double-bladed saber is actually a lot shorter range than, it seems. But then Vince is not so tall compared to him. So they almost cancel each other out in that regard.
Right.
Yep.
Vince really had the fly fishing aspect down, though. His movement was interesting. Not the same way I'm used to seeing him move with a single saber. A lot more, and I don't mean this in a bad way, a little more drunken master. A little more, God, it sounds so bad. Haphazard, but I mean that as a compliment. Mm-hmm. Technically haphazard. Haphazard in a technical fashion. It's good. It's a good fight, boys. Good job.
Yep.
All right, let's see who we got next here.
You got
Liz and Akaya.
Okay.
So Liz is with Saberlight Knights. I think she's been 2 years now. She's been doing very well in tournaments. Trained her a bit in the pike.
Okay.
It's not her preferred weapon, but she's not bad with it. Kaya normally fights dual wield, and he's pretty good at that. He is quick and squirrely, so this will be an interesting one. It'll probably be Liz's measure and precision versus Akaya speed, so it'll be good.
And it looks like he's using at least one blade that's a little bit shorter, if not both.
Yep.
Okay. Smart man. All right. We got a long pike and a couple of Shotos almost. This should be interesting.
Yeah, Kaya with Kyber Kai Academy, and in West Virginia, it says Grand Moff on the back of his armor, by the way. He's the head of Kyber Kai up there in West Virginia.
He's very patient.
Yeah, but he's I believe he actually had trained with Sifu Damon Honeycutt.
Okay,
that's true.
A few years when he was just starting doing lightsaber stuff.
Yeah,
and then he was just like, hey, it's like coming home. I hear Sifu in the room with me.
Yeah,
and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he sent me an Instagram message the other day on the Saber Martial Arts page. I should reply to him. I didn't actually read it yet.
What's cool about this fight is they're both pretty patient. Neither of them are just like running in there for anything. Liz is just waiting for an opening and going for it.
There's a balance to be struck between patience and aggression, though, in these timed continuous matches, right? Like,
right.
Because you still have to. Somebody has to score enough to make it a convincing victory.
Right.
But it's tough because they're both in a precarious situation. If he gets inside of her range, she's sliced and diced. There's no two buts about it. But she can keep him at range pretty well. Oh, that was interesting.
She's also guarding that the pike shaft. See how choked up she is? She's pool cueing that thing, so she only exposes it when she's actually attacking.
It almost seems like she's relying on, well, not there. There she's relying on range for defense, which is smart. Initially, it seemed like she was relying on her weapon to help defend herself a little bit, but the pike in and of itself is not a defensive tool. Like blocking and parrying with the pike is not as easy as it is with a normal saber. This could just be my opinion, but I think just overall, especially after teaching people for a long time, the pike is more of an offensive tool than a defensive tool. But
I would disagree.
Well, okay, so let me put it this way. You use your range, you use the strikes to defend yourself with the pike 9 times out of 10. Now, let me hear your version.
So, yes, you're 100% correct about the range, but all you have to do is very small movements on the end, and the other end of that pike moves very far. So it's actually pretty easy to parry your approach with the pike.
Yeah, but that hilt is real close. So you do have to be very precise. Like if you're sliding at all, you could really run into getting your hilt struck a lot. And again, that depends on the rule set too. So yeah, I like true. I like where your head's at though. You're right with that long lever. It doesn't take a whole lot to send your opponent off course very quickly. So that's an interesting take. There you go, friends and neighbors. Some real pike talk. We don't talk a whole lot about them because most of the stuff we watch is single saber. So it's good. It's good that we get some of this extra stuff in there. And it's sort of like, at least over the last few years, it's like everybody's favorite like thing to do is bring a spear in there, right? So actually knowing a little bit about how it works is a good thing.
Okay.
So
next up we have my apprentice Brooks Baszler using a great sword with the Suba, which is maybe not the best idea.
Ah,
Versus Stephen Blaylock of West Virginia, who I believe will be dual wielding.
Yep.
So the
Looks like it.
Suba counts as a hilt. So
Yeah.
that Suba is a target.
yeah. And Brooks, is he going to be doing this two-handed or one-handed?
He'll probably go into one hand. He's almost as tall as Sprig,
Yeah.
and he's got a lot of range, and he's got pretty good footwork. So
Okay.
he'll try to stay at range and just kind of poke out.
Yeah.
And we'll see what Steven tries to do about that. Steven is a martial arts instructor before he joined Kyber Kai. So
Okay.
he has a lot of experience. I don't necessarily know what in, but I do know that he does have a lot and has been doing this for a while.
And he looks like he's borrowing the same sabers we just saw.
Yep, looks like.
These boys are big. I would not want to be caught in the middle of this fight.
Yeah, they're both tall guys.
They're
Oh,
taking
compared to
up
me.
like the whole ring with their swings almost.
Mm-hmm. And there's the reach of Brooks.
Ryan, I'm surprised we didn't ask Courtney this before, and I've been in that room, so I have a general sense, but do you actually know the dimension of your ring?
The ring is circular, so it's 20 across both ways.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. It looks like it's at least 20. Which is good. And we've talked about that many times before, like, how small or how big do you, and we've seen all sizes, but 20s are really good, like happy medium size, in my opinion, because as you can see, the big guys fit in there, but the little guys have room to move as well. Little guys, girls too.
Sometimes they're hitting a little bit too hard, so there was a call to stop and check, make sure there wasn't equipment malfunction.
It's better to stop that as it's building.
Yeah.
As opposed to waiting for what's going to happen. So nip in the bud early.
Absolutely. That's an interesting stance. This it's sort of like, how do you even know if they're hitting too hard? Because I feel like these boys just hit like bricks no matter what. I feel like even their light controlled 10% is like brick status.
Yeah, that's where the audio comes in.
Right.
If you can hear that thing echo in that room, then you know that you're hitting too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's we didn't have any, as far as I can remember. I don't think we had any power shots being called on a consistent basis.
Well, and it didn't look like they're actually like swinging hard or anything like that, but they're just big dudes, Sometimes it gets away from them. You hear about that gentle giant thing, right? Like sometimes those big dudes, it just gets away from them.
Right.
So those guys actually, especially in the final half of that, look very controlled.
Oh yeah, I thought Steven did a very good job of prior riposte.
Yeah, I agree.
Riposte,
I agree. Yeah.
Remember, each one of those is actually 6 points, so that probably made a difference. I think Brooks got more single hits in there, but I think that Steven got the quality ones.
Steven was engaging for the long haul. Brooks was in and out for sure. This is going to be Steven. Yep. Good job. It's a good match. Looks like we got a great saber cross guard going on the left there.
Oh, is Peter up next?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, yeah. So Peter he comes out occasionally with us. Hopefully he'll be coming out more. But he's actually a HEMA fighter. He's done very well in the HEMA circuit tournaments and is a well-known fighter there. But he's fun to watch. Power can be a bit of an issue because, like I said, he is new and he is from HEMA. But his technique is quite spectacular to watch.
Yeah.
Fighting him should be Trevor Kuhn, who is from Saberation. Is that right, Alan?
I believe so. I'm not sure if he's still with them, but that's where his previous saber training came from.
They're a group out of Virginia Beach.
Yeah. I think they are... I don't know if they're doing... I know they have their own rule set and everything like that, but I believe they teach mostly kids. I could be wrong. I think the last event I saw of theirs was at a laser tag place. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if my information is wrong or if that was just a special event.
I'm not 100% sure, but their YouTube page has not been active in quite some time. Now, part of that may be that they may have gotten in trouble for using the term saber martial arts in their description. I would not know anything about that. I would just know that they did. But I will say that I heard, I didn't hear anything specific, but I heard that there may be a reason why their YouTube page has not been super active. So,
Okay.
I will say
this is Trevor fighting.
He's on the right there, correct? So
yes.
The only reason I bring that up is if you are looking for instruction from them. Not sure that's the way you're going to find it anymore. They used to have a bunch of stuff up on their YouTube page, but I'm not sure that's the way you're going to find it now.
And this is the other thing too is he started off with a saber staff and then he broke it apart into Jarkai, but the saber staff specs are different than the Jarkai specs.
Correct. So you can't use it.
You can't like do that in the middle of the match either. Like you can't switch your weapon, can you?
You could if you built your staff to where it met the requirements of the dual wield. There's nothing against doing it. It's just his blades were way too long to be, dual wield.
Interesting. So they were too long for dual wield, but not for saber staff. Maybe I just
correct.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think the saber staff.
Or is it just an overall length
36
issue?
And the Jarkai had to be 32.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
And I remember because I had to cut my blades down and I was like, wait, I thought I had this before, but I guess not. So
I would never use two 36-inch blades. It's too much man for me. But I didn't realize that was the rule.
And you see there's the Hema coming out of Peter, jumping right into the bind.
Now, when it looked like his bind was in such a way that his crossguard blade would have cut that hilt. Would you guys have counted that point, Ryan?
That would count as a point, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why you don't need to bind because it was already over anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And this is Peter just hitting the hilt over and over again.
Yes,
I remember this part of the fight.
Smart fighter.
Yes.
Yeah. But, 1 point at a time is a lot better than 0 points. And it looks like Trevor's going for the parry or post, but he just can't seem to get there. We have a ring out there.
Yep.
So that they will restart.
I'm a little thrown off by what the saber staff like. I expected a little more motion, a little more movement, a little more.
Yeah, I think that.
Well, he went in expecting to do Jarkai, so that might throw him off for sure. I did forget that.
Well, and he's new. I mean, we don't know how the Saberation fights. It's with a different rule set.
Yeah,
you have to arm that kind of thing. So it's.
I don't think there's a lot of super like. Not that this is heavy, but like heavy contact or full contact, if you will. I think it's a lot more sort of.
There's also
point based.
There is also a little bit more of that. I don't think he's used to continuous fighting. I don't think he's used to this is a brand new rule set for him, so he's still kind of coming in with it and trying not to blow himself or anybody else out. So,
yep. No, it's good. I mean, I
love ups to Trevor for coming in with some different stuff, though.
Yeah, and I love to see like you're kind of saying there, people come out of their their cave, so to speak, and join us. Because that's how this podcast started, right? That's how this whole damn thing started.
Well, the one thing you notice, like that man was in complete balance the entire fight. So there was no wild steps, there was no loss of anything. If he needed to pull back, he could react. It was just he chose a weapon where Peter could just drill down the center.
Well, you make a really good point there, because especially if this is his first or one of his first events out of his normal dojo, so to speak, he kept his cool pretty well. He just kind of got right in there and kept it smooth. So that's good. Mm-hmm. So who's the snake eyes over here?
And David Graham.
Okay.
Both Saberlight Knights. So Christy Jerome versus David Graham.
Yeah.
So when did Christy pick up Jarkai?
Oh, she's been doing that for a while.
Well, I guess I underestimate how long she's been with you guys now.
She's pretty good with it too.
In my mind, she's still brand new, but she's been with you for like 4 years.
Looks like David shows a great sword. So hopefully it pays off a little bit better than Different Brooks.
With a Suba, right? This is a great sword.
He's got a Suba. He also has a sword on his back that I've been trying to hit for at least a month. One of these days I'm going to get it.
And David likes to get in and out, jump in.
Trained by Chico.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
If I had any notes for David, it is that he steps with his heel instead of staying on his toes. But other than that, he's doing real good.
I keep telling him to take smaller, quicker steps as opposed to these big steps. I think he'd be able to stay more in balance.
He's got to get his back foot out of the line too.
Mm-hmm.
That was something that Christy struggled with when she was starting out, and you can see now she's got her rear foot more squared off, a lot more balance, and a lot more sure-footed. So I think David's got all the makings of success. He just a couple little tweaks. And by the way, this is not big deal stuff. This is easy, simple stuff that everybody at one point or another has to adjust. So this is not a knock on David at all. This is big.
And Christy's doing the small quick steps that you talk about, Ryan.
Yeah.
And her big thing is that she kind of leads with her chin, so she has to tuck her chin a little bit. She is keeping, well, she's also keeping her hands back a little bit more, so she has to actually pull further in order to get a hit. If she had moved her body back a little bit and had her weapon a little bit out of range, it might be easier.
That was good though.
But that was an excellent
block strike there.
Yeah, excellent, like slanted step for that.
Yep. She
and sometimes
go ahead. No, you're after you.
I was gonna say also over the years, Christy's tank has gotten bigger. Too.
Yes, absolutely.
She's not as out of breath as when I usually see her. I saw her years ago. She's learned how to pace herself. She's learned how to breathe, and it's pretty awesome to see. Like again, somebody that started off, without any martial arts experience, grow into this and grow into a awesome fighter. So. Yeah.
You're 100% right about the breathing thing, and actually David struggled with that too, and he's made huge gains. Like normally David would be about passed out by now, and he's still looking pretty fresh.
You can do a lot of athletic things and be like a really good athlete, but your gas tank is not going to be a fighter's gas tank unless you fight, right? Or you're not going to have a swimmer's gas tank unless you swim. It's just the way it is, and it takes a whole different thing. Because Christy's like strong, like she's definitely athletic. She's definitely got like capacity for power and speed and all these things that make like a good fighter or a good athlete. Ooh, looks like we got Alan in here on the right with his yellow arm. Anyway, Christy, one little thing with all the improvements in your technique and your style and everything, I would say carve a few inches off of each of those sabers when you do Jarkai. Just a few inches, because you're strong enough to wield them, but I think if they're a few grams lighter, so to speak, you're going to have an easier time holding your guards with them. Because I think the one thing I noticed in her technique in that match was I don't know if it was difficulty or if it was just kind of fatigue or what, but it looked like she was holding her swords down lower than she wanted to more often than she wanted to. So I would say hack a couple inches off of each sword or one of your two and see if that doesn't help a little bit.
All right, absolutely.
So this is next up. This is M. Watson, who is a light speed fighter, actually out of Fredericksburg, Virginia.
On the left there, and then Alan on the right here. And this is about to be just buzzsaw status, I think, with all these sabers flying about. And I'm right. Yes.
Yeah, M was very nervous coming in because I don't believe she has done this ever. This is her first tournament for
No, she did the East Coast Rumble with us, which was an unranked tournament.
Okay.
So she used the heavy blades. Now she hadn't tried to dual wield them yet. But that's what she does in light speed a lot.
Oh, okay.
Which is it's a different thing. I mean, especially with the difference in the equipment, right? The light speed blades versus the saber light and saber martial arts blades. I mean, that alone changes how you fight. And you can see Alan sort of breaking out his Filipino style a little bit with those inner circles, but that not that one, that up block with the stab there, Alan. What was that little shank move, a little prison shank? I like it.
So we did some shield and sword.
Yeah, that's right out of there.
The day before.
I like it. Well done. Look at you again. There it is again, you tricky bastard.
So at this point, M is really getting into it. So I was like, okay, let's throw some cool stuff at you.
Man, she goes down on her knees. She's wearing the knee pads, but man, she goes down on them knees.
Yep.
Oh, do it while you're young. Nice strike. Nice strike, Alan.
Yeah.
I've seen her in a lightspeed tournament block a blade from Vince behind her back and crush him right across the head. It was one of the
how about that?
The cooler prior posts I'd ever seen.
Nice.
She's got the wiry sort of very flexible. Just that was cool. That was a good strike. I like it. This match is very that was like a lightsaber fight. You know what I mean? That looked like something you could pull out of a Star Wars.
There was only an 8-point difference on the scores on this one.
Oh wow. That's pretty close. People don't realize 8 points can happen in just a couple seconds.
Yep. Yeah, she had a lot of good barrier post hit to the head, that sort of thing. So she's really good, and she'll be when she gets like really into it. Like the last half of that fight, I think was a good representation of.
And is she a little younger, Ryan?
I think she's 19.
Okay, so she's definitely got some physical maturation to do yet that will.
Oh, as we get older, she will be getting stronger.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yep. Faster and more durable, which is like really one of those things that as you get older, yes, certain things break you easier, but overall you just get more durable, and that's a good thing. Yeah, she's going to be a good one. Watch out.
Yep.
Watch out. You love to see the young talent come up.
Yep. Next up, we'll have Michael Mendoza versus Chico. So Michael has a wealth of experience in eskrima, kendo, general martial arts. He likes to do a drunken style of fighting sometimes.
I'm assuming we're going to see
is just beast mode explosion.
I'm assuming we're going to see a bit of Japanese style out of that pike in this match.
He's a good pike fighter.
If you mentioned kendo, I would have, and I could be wrong, but I would have to assume it's going to be a little bit of that Naginata style. And then Chico, man, ass whooping 3000. That's what Chico is. Just a machine.
Yeah, going for cross guard.
All right. This should be a blast. Don't blink for the next 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Here we go.
Yeah, right out of the gate, we're at 2 million miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely Naginata style. You can definitely tell, especially the way he's kind of cutting with it, not just stabbing. It's beautiful. Good work. And Chico's footwork has improved. Like, I remember doing the fight nights with you and just mentioning, like, that was the one thing I wanted to see him, and he's definitely done so.
Early on, I was afraid he's going to break his ankles.
Yes. Constantly sort of twisted over himself, but now he's definitely sort of like we talked about with David being on the line the whole time, and he's figured out how to square himself a lot more. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you've had something to do with that, Ryan, seeing as
a little bit, but I think his footwork it's a hell of a lot faster than mine. Definitely eclipses mine.
Yeah, speed wise,
more dynamic.
He's very fast. Very, very fast. It's not just the explosive speed, because a lot of people can be fat, like just there you saw on the right side. You see explosive speed, but Chico's got that idling speed too, you know. I don't have that.
You just don't get tired ever.
It's true.
Like between matches, will you ever doing jump rope or jogging around the lot or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Never stopping.
I saw Chico with his shirt off. I'm gonna lay it out there for all the ladies. No, I think he's married. But Chico is a nerd with like a 24 pack of abs. So yeah, that is my dude. I love that guy. That was that match already over? What happened?
No, there was basically Equipment. Michael popped one of his arm straps.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh man.
Yeah, so I mean, you can definitely tell both of these guys are dedicated martial artists.
Yes.
You know, they train. They're not. Nothing is like wild at all in anything that they're doing. They're as patient as you can be going that fast.
You know what?
That only had a 6-point difference, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
You know, I noticed that Chico, especially in that match, definitely treats, and maybe this is what about his style, I was trying to like put my finger on, like, there's something that you can't duplicate about that. And I think that Chico really treats it like a lightsaber more than a lot of other people do. Some of the strikes he chooses and some of the unorthodox positions that he strikes from, they look like not like this sword style or that sword. You know, it looks like just somebody who's fighting with a lightsaber. And I think that's what it is. I've been watching him for like 3 or 4 years now, and that I couldn't like put my finger on, and that's what it is. He treats it like a lightsaber more than most other people. And I think part of that is it's his first martial art too, right? So if the first thing you're introduced to is a lightsaber and you're told by Courtney and Ryan and people like that it behaves this way, and you know, we treat it like it is in the movie, that's what you get. You get somebody who knows how to make that style of weapon fit into all the keyholes. So Chico's become quite adept at that.
And this is Vince versus who is this?
This is Michael brother, right? Mendoza's brother, Connor Mendoza.
Connor, that's his name.
So he is 17, I believe.
Yeah.
He does a lot of wrestling and also does kendo.
So we got finally somebody that Vince can look in the eye. Vince, I promise, man. I do not mean to come down on you, homie. I am probably shorter than you, so don't even trip. No, I mean that in all seriousness, because now they're truly on equal ground. They've got long ass weapons and short ass bodies. So this is very interesting. By the way, historically speaking, a lot of times, especially like women, they would be issued the pole arms, the shorter people, for that very reason. They can move them fast, and they can make up for their lack of height. You can put a whole bunch of us shorties at the front of the line and probably stack double the amount of us in there that you could somebody Ryan's height. No, these boys are, I mean, Don't Touch Me is the name of this game, right? Stay just out of range. And they're both kind of, it's almost like I don't want to get beat by the other guy. They're kind of trading little moves here. They've gone for the same types of moves a couple times in a row, and I think there's a bit of a pissing match going on.
Yeah, now Vince is just waiting because Connor is just trying to get in, and Vince is just parry or posting.
And Connor's attacking basically the same zone each time. Vince is changing it up a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, these boys are getting in a pissing match. Neither one wants the other one to get anywhere close.
Vince is eating that hilltop.
Yep.
Yep, he is, for sure. That's another experience thing, and you see it in kickboxing too. It's the going for the single committed strike versus combos. And a lot of times you just have a better chance of scoring if you throw some combos, and you can see that from Vince right now. He's throwing more volume, more strikes overall, and if I had to guess, it probably earned him the match.
Connor was very fast and very good at selecting. It's just that he was going more for Vince than he was for his weapon.
Yes,
a lot of
and a single strike at a time. A lot of the time,
right? And there was nothing following up.
But technique-wise, you said his name was Connor. Technique-wise, very clean, very good. Yeah. Whoever taught him initially, good job.
Well done. Yeah. So it's one of those things where knowing the rule set and playing the rule set is definitely an experience thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun match for me to watch. I always
and just an experience for him too, so which is really cool.
I always like watching people my size see how they adapt to the situation. So that's good. I can't sympathize with you big ass dudes. I just can't sympathize.
This is Ryan versus Liz. Ryan's pulling out the Jarkai.
Mm-hmm.
See who can outpatient the other in this.
I have a feeling that Ryan is not going to be super patient after a certain point.
I've gotten a little bit more patient.
I didn't say you weren't patient, but I know at a certain point you have to engage.
Yeah. And very smart. Liz is just staying just out of range. Trying to get in there, trying to see what she can fish out of Ryan's movement. But it also...
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
So she's doing a very, like, you've seen it a couple times with like Vince and some of the better pike fighters, but you can see she's using that front hand just as a guide, not a real grip, just a channel, if you will, for the hilt to slide through. And that is a good way to game the rule of keeping two hands on your weapon and still being able to use the full length of it. So pay attention, people. So that's a smart move. I also like what she's doing. When you come with a downward strike, Ryan, she's sort of like buffering against it by lowering her saber so that even if she misses the block, your power and your momentum is kind of gone to the wind. It's a very smart defensive there she did it just kind of like just taking this. It's almost a void, but it's more like just like cushioning against your blows almost. It's a very smart move, and it keeps you from freaking out, because sometimes when somebody's attacking like you are, in those moments where you'll come in with a combo, it's easy to get your mind freaked out, and she seems to be keeping her cool rather well with those voids and those baffles.
Just a half second faster after after voiding
Right.
or
Ooh, over the top there.
parrying.
Nice job.
She
Good
got
ending
it.
strike.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun match. Like you said, Alan, it was a patient game at first, and then Ryan started to try and eat away at the defense a little bit.
It ain't done yet.
Right.
Oh, are we going to sudden death?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
There's
Was that a rather low scoring match?
Right now it's 18-18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
So yeah, well, it was a tie game, and now again,
That's our first sudden death of the division too, I
yep.
believe. Let's see if she gets a little more aggressive on you. She looked like she was gonna. I don't know now. Oh man. Oh my God. What happened? Did she get it? She got it. Oh my God, she got it.
So she showed really good honor here because she didn't actually get it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I got her hilt and she never hit me.
Yeah.
But it was close. It was very close.
Oh man.
The judges heard something get hit and assumed. So she's
because
like, no,
her motion looked a little more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they throw the point
They
away.
just tossed it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the responsible thing to do. And it just goes to show you what you can miss just by watching the video.
Right.
Ooh, Ryan with the upward strike to the hilt. Yeah. Very sneaky. Very nice job. Yeah. Excellent. Also, for anybody who's watching, that strike went past her front hand. So I'm sure that Ryan's been watching her this whole time going, she's got that hand locked into place there. And it's working as that guide, but that was very smart of you to calculate that extra bit of distance you needed on that strike, because a lot of people would have just done the rising strike and wherever it hits, it hits. It seems like you actually calculated that. So very good. Very, very good. Way to end it, too. Fucking decisive.
Up next, we've got Peter and Steven.
And Steven, yeah.
Side note, I hate these bar stools I'm sitting in. Oh my gosh, my butt is numb. Oh.
So, Jarkai versus Crossguard again. You'll see Peter go through some more of his longsword stuff here. I believe we had a lot of this though. We had a lot of greatsword or crossguard versus Jarkai toward the later rounds of this.
Yep.
I personally think Jarkai is one of those things that a lot of people just, and I haven't seen it yet in here. It actually looks like for the most part, everybody who's done Jarkai has had either some experience with it or can make it up pretty well on the fly. And a lot of times that's not the case. A lot of times it seems like people just choose it because they have an extra saber and they want to enter an extra division. But you do need to practice with too. You can't just like, oh, I know how to use one, so I'll just add another. It's like that's not the way it worked.
It's usually a handicap when they first
exactly started. Exactly right. You're throwing a whole other thing to think about, right? And then you're not supposed to even think about it. You're supposed to just fight. So don't just haphazardly choose Jarkai. As a matter of fact, I think Crossguard or Great Saber is the best choice for somebody who's never done an Exotics division before, because you don't have to change much.
Right.
I would say maybe Spear or Pike would be a second option because it's very similar and there's a very short list of basic moves you can do.
You notice Steven is using less of his left hand here and just kind of fencing with his right, and then for extra reach stepping in.
Yep.
for that with that left, and now Peter's figured that out and has started to fish here forward to get that left in, and then stepping back and getting the parry riposte.
Steven switching from weapon to weapon well. Maybe not as quickly as I'd like to see him transition between sides, but in the armor, and he's moving pretty fast anyway. Both these boys are not small dudes, so maybe I'll take it back a little bit. He's very athletic, and very technical. Definitely got control of his swords. That was fun. It's short. It seemed short. Everything's the same length, but it seemed short because they were engaged for almost the whole time. So it almost looked like what's the with the crossguard saber? Tell me his name again. I'm gonna do this 100 times. Peter.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he was trying to put his tip between Steven's hands the whole time, which was a smart idea. And get him on the left hand, get him on the right hand, just kind of stick his point in the middle and start carving. So I thought that was an interesting tactic, a smart tactic. Precision over volume.
Right. This was I appointed myself armband person.
And thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. It was like every single time Peter wins that match, and every single time everybody's like, "Where's the armband?" I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Somebody has to just be on armbands." Got it. So this is Christy versus Alain Block. So double Jarkai.
I love double Jarkai. It's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Double Jarkai and Jarkai versus double bladed saber. I just from a nerd standpoint, just make me so happy.
All right.
So we've mentioned that Alain has been saber fighting almost as long as anybody. Over 10 years now.
Time world champion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And Christy has been doing it probably less than half as long. But I'm fully expecting this whole match to be well fought from both people. Because as we mentioned, she's come leaps and bounds over a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. She's not as timid as she used to be. She actually steps up with some aggression.
She's not intimidated anymore.
Openings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she's also comfortable in the way she's moving.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a big difference there.
Exactly. Also, one of the biggest things is that for Jarkai fighters, they will stop moving one sword.
Yes.
When they fight,
mm-hmm.
And that time where she's not moving one hand is a lot shorter than it used to be.
Yes. It's not a bad thing to stop one while the other one, but it is a bad thing to let it just do nothing, right? Like you have to do something. But man, just a couple inches off each blade. Oh my God. I see it right now. Like I see how much better she could be with just a couple inches off each blade. But man, I'm nitpicking. I'm really nitpicking.
Alain is reading the distance and going on the offside.
Yes.
Each time. He's definitely doing that slanted step to get off the railroad tracks per se.
Yes.
In order to get the riposte.
He's blocking pretty well too. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to block in Jarkai because you're so concerned about the two swords, but he's blocking very well.
Sure. Yeah, and the thing is, like, especially with Jarkai, it's easier to parry riposte because you can parry with one hand and hit with the other. So
I'd be shocked if that was that a tie.
It was not a tie. No.
Okay. I thought it might have been, but it was just well fought. Christy is trying to do different things. She's not like spamming a move that works because it worked. Which, that can be a tactic. If nobody's defending it, then it's stupid to not go to the well over and over again. But against somebody like Alon, he's not going to let you just get away with the same thing for 3 minutes straight. So she mixed it up quite well.
He was playing the game, so if you notice, most of his hits were prior or post, where most 100% single hits.
Yeah.
So that was probably...
He fought the whole thing a lot more like a rapier dagger situation, even though his swords were similar length or equal length. He used his right hand a lot. It seemed like his right hand a lot more as like a parrying dagger. And surprisingly enough, because I believe he's right-handed, his left hand was doing most of the counter striking and short little annoying little counter strikes. So well played by both. Christy in the variety of techniques and just like showing that she's got a full Swiss Army knife now. And then Alon on just showing what experience can do for you. It can help you read the situation quite quickly and come up with a strategy that's working. So that was a fun fight. Kudos to both on that. I keep saying that, but you gotta give credit where it's due. And when you see good fights, you see them.
That's a terrifying sight.
Yeah. It's like freaking hell.
No, I looked over and I saw Sprague with a pike going to Chico. I was like, oh my God, somebody's going to die.
Oh my God. This is, oh my gosh. Did this, I don't even know. This is like the apocalypse in the middle of this ring right now.
Right.
Juggernaut versus freaking Quicksilver.
At least they both got good armor.
Oh man. Mike, did you need like a 7-foot weapon? Did you really need it? Oh my gosh. Look at how long oh my gosh. Chico's go gadget lightsaber, man. Holy crap. Chico's smart, man. He's got a solid like protection zone going on, but I'd be scared crapless right now.
Right.
Yeah, he's jumping in and out, and he's keeping he's as Chico does, moves so that you don't have a still target.
Yes.
Right. And he's hitting that hilt over and over again so that the apparent reach for Sprague doesn't matter as much.
Ooh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Right back at him.
I know Sprague's got a lot of traditional martial arts training. You can definitely tell he's got some staff and spear training here. And in Kemp, I know he's a Kenpo guy. In Kenpo, the stick weapons are very, very important. And you can tell he moves that thing fast as hell too. Damn, he moves it fast. He moves it as fast as he moves a regular lightsaber, which is crazy.
Right.
Because I know that thing is probably pretty heavy. Unless he's using one of those carbon fiber ones.
It's
carbon fiber. Is he using one of your
No, that's carbon fiber.
Is it carbon fiber? That would explain some of the speed. But still, I mean, damn. That's a lot of just length to move that quickly. So, very, very good job. Damn, Chico. Chico is a buzzsaw. That's exactly what he is.
He's fighting smart. Just fighting smart.
I feel like when Mike is fighting, he is like a stone, like his face, like his mind, his heart. I feel like every part of him just turns to stone as soon as the referee says fight.
Right.
You could just tell the man's like not fazed by combat.
Right.
Warriors it gets. One day I will be 25% as manly as Mike Sprague, and I will feel like a man. All right. I'm guessing Chico takes this, but it seemed close.
There it was.
Yep. Wow, Chico's taller than I thought he was. Standing next to Mike there, he looks taller than I thought. All right. The fights just keep getting better. That's what you want to see too, right? Especially as a event organizer, you want to see the quality increase as the event goes on.
I can tell you that going forward, the scores get a lot closer.
Yep. I love that. Love to hear that. It looks like we got Roland on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince?
Yep, Roland and Vince.
Okay. And these two fight all the time. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, not to mention that
years.
Roland and you guys have the added benefit of constantly watching and analyzing everybody else fight.
That's why we started doing it in the first place.
Yeah. So, and Roland's very analytical when it comes to fighting. So, I know he's not the type of person that cares so much about victory. He's just there for the Spartanship of it all. But just his analytical mind, I encourage everybody. Here's the shameless plug for Saberlight Fight Nights. You guys need to go on to their YouTube page and hang out with Roland and Ryan and Vince and everybody when they're watching fights, because we talk about analysis. Roland knows what he's looking at. Ryan knows what they're looking at this point. You guys have been doing that for a couple years now too, so there's just a oodles of videos and good fights for you guys to watch. So go back to their YouTube page after this podcast and check out the rest of their stuff. Give them a reason to keep putting them out. Ryan, I know you'd keep putting them out even if nobody watched, but thankfully for you, people are watching.
Yeah, basically, I started it because I got tired of just watching my fights, and I put music to them, and I was like, well,
yeah,
I can only learn so much just watching it myself, so let's bring other people on and get them to critique it and get more viewpoints.
It works.
It does.
I mean, as we're doing this, like, you can see and watch Vince just kind of waiting for his opportunity, even though Roland is constantly moving. He's not moving quite enough to get out of that the way that Vince is coming in, and Vince is steadily like hitting him in the way he's about to go. So, and Roland is giggling and having a great time.
Yeah.
Per usual.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm seeing like a lot of hits from Roland, but his style is such that I'm sure the audio helps determine the score a lot more easily, because just watching these two, the timing is difficult to perceive, who's hitting first, who's hitting second. But it did look like Vince had a little bit of a sniper advantage on Roland in that. But man, Roland's got some energy, dude. Like, I know Roland is not the oldest one in your group, but he's far from the youngest also. And man, again, like, if I have 25% that much energy when I get to Roland's age, man, I'll be so happy. I don't have that much energy now, and I'm easily 10 years younger than him.
All right.
So, that match, I'm gonna guess Vince, but I had a lot of fun with Roland in that one. Roland's got a lot of inward strikes when he does his Jarkai.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's from his Pikiti Tirsia. Like you can see that a lot of circular motion, forward and backward stepping, almost like a rocking motion.
Right.
But those inward circles, that's like not characteristic of a lot of other styles. A lot of times you see more outward circles or, sort of straight forward and backward motion. So that inward circular motion, that is very characteristic of a specific style of Filipino arts. And Roland does it well. He does it very instinctively. So it's very cool.
All right, here is Ryan versus Peter. I believe we're looking for another judge, though.
Ryan, what is it like fighting somebody who, like, I know you fought against other HEMA practitioners and stuff, but just from somebody who's kind of like sole purpose has been HEMA up to this point, and now they're kind of like trickling into the lightsaber realm. Was it different for you? How was it for you, or is it something that you were kind of used to?
I was used to it, but they're very beautiful to watch. Their strikes are very flowing, like that right there.
Right. Even when you're in the match, does it kind of catch you off guard a little bit? Sometimes you kind of admire.
Exactly. You'll see me step back while I'm doing it. Yeah. But there tends to be a slight hole between guards. Okay. So if you know where they're going, you can take advantage of that.
Okay. Interesting pickup.
That's why I'm waiting for him to strike. I'm inviting him in to then react off what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, one thing Courtney had mentioned about you that Alan and I had both agreed with is just your ability to kind of learn on the fly what your opponent is doing. And that's tough. You can't teach that to somebody, although you can teach them the tools they need to accomplish it. But that actual ability, that's something, in my opinion, that you're kind of born with, and you have to know about yourself. And it seems like you've kind of figured out that you can do that. It's a little bit of a superpower.
Right.
Oh, nice. Very good stab. Oh, that was an interesting clash.
That was good.
Do you like fighting against a single blade when you're dual wielding, or do you not really have a preference?
Actually, I mean, of all that I do, dual wield is actually my favorite.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't do it is it's also exhausting.
Right.
So if I'm going to a tournament that has multiple tournaments, I'm not going dual wield because I'm doing whatever I can to conserve energy for the next fight.
So what would you do, a pike or a great saber in that case?
Pike.
Yeah, for sure.
Minimal effort, maximal game.
Yeah, it's like a recharge station fighting with a pike. Mm-hmm. It's like plugging your phone in. So I definitely saw what you were talking about, where you're kind of like playing the timing game, almost like whack-a-mole. You know, you're waiting for that mole to pop his head up and striking right away. But you both had some very like pretty techniques in that fight. It was cool.
He's a fantastic fighter.
He looks like a big boy too.
He's not small.
Yeah, strong dude. All right, nice job, Ryan. Good job.
Thank you.
I wonder do you know how close the score was on that one?
It was 25-17.
Okay.
So this is the battle for Alan Prime.
Oh, yes.
We joked around most of the weekend because whenever somebody would say one of our names, we both look. So during the foam wars that we did, I won our match, and this was so I was Island Prime for this match, but he has to take it from me because there can be only one.
That's very funny.
So yeah, this is a great time. He also didn't want to do Jarkai because he switched to Greatsword here because he didn't want to do another double Jarkai fight. So I was like, all right, well, we'll do whatever we do.
Yep. Same question, Alan. Do you have a preference? I mean, I know you'll do whatever, but do you have a preference if you were fighting Jarkai, whether you're facing a single blade or something a little more exotic?
I like fighting whatever my opponent is fighting.
Yeah,
but
you've mentioned that before.
Just as a thing, but at this point, I was just like, I don't have a crossguard saber, so I'm just gonna go Jarkai.
I feel like the reason I asked you boys that question is because sometimes when I'm fighting Jarkai, I think fighting against a single saber, I don't want to say it can be more difficult, but sometimes they can make me forget I've got two, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I'll get caught up in playing the single game, which is my own problem. It's not anything to do with them, but I notice it happens more when I'm fighting against somebody who's only got a single blade to contend with. And when I'm doing Jarkai versus Jarkai, it feels a lot more like a stick fight, right? Where there's just a lot more motion. Everybody's getting hit a lot more, but everything is happening faster too. So I don't have the time to forget I have two blades. But Alan, I know that's not something you do very often. Forget you've got two.
Okay.
And I can see you're trying to move his blade off. You're not just trying to block, you're trying to move it away.
Yeah, so a lot of this is just me just trying stuff to see what he does when I do stuff.
What he bites on.
Yeah, and Alan's a thinking man's fighter too.
Yes,
so he's
correct.
He's like doing a lot of things. And I don't know if it's right about now. Oh, that's right. Courtney was like, everybody over here. And I went over there with him. He's like, no, you're a fighter. Go over there.
You.
Everybody but you.
That's funny as hell.
So I believe I hit underneath his Quillians on that one, which is why Courtney called it all the same. But when I think right about now is when he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let him come to me, and I fall for it. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna run after you. Damn it, I'm running after you.
You started out smart by engaging his blade, and then you started to throw caution to the wind a little.
Yeah, at this point, there's a huge smile on my face.
I was gonna say,
try this.
I can hear the smile through the muted screen.
I'm basically just like, okay, well, all right, okay, he's having me chase him.
Yep.
All right, maybe I just do this and I just kind of hang out.
That was good.
And
nice strike to the head there.
Smack him in the head.
Yeah. And let's see if we can get Courtney to jump out of the way. Small things like that.
It looks like he's waiting for. It looks like he's trying to get you to run yourself through on his sword.
Which is great.
It's a smart move, smart tactic. Yes,
that way. Yeah.
Smart tactic. And like I said, you started out by engaging his sword first, which would have opened you up for the strikes you were looking for, and then you just started to have your little merry fun.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate, like when you've been doing it as long as Alan, or I haven't been doing it quite as long, but a long time. And like Ryan mentioned, that you've been doing lacrosse for a long, long time. When you do something for that long, like moments like that, they last so short, right? It's less than a minute of your life, but it's so euphoric. It's like this moment where everything is happening the way, I don't know how it would be in lacrosse, but like in hockey when the passes, right? You pass here, you pass here, you pass here, and then it goes in the damn goal, and you're like, oh my god, it actually all worked. That seemed like that last minute of that fight there, for him it was working the way that he was trying to get you to do it, and for you were just having the goddamn time of your life.
I don't know. For me, there's almost like a smell to it. Like
yes,
and it's just like all of a sudden everything.
I love the way you say that.
Crisper.
Yes,
everything feels different, and you can almost feel yourself going into that zone. And it's
the smell of real combat, so to speak, real in air quotes, but like yes, you get into that. You both feel it too. You're like, oh, this is the moment.
And a lot of times, like, I mean. My wife has yelled at me a lot for this. Is like I should probably go in there with a more serious attitude to try to win, but I'm just having too much fun. So apologies if people think that I'm just goofing off to goof off. Because I really am.
So we've got Vince and Chico in this match.
I go the opposite way on that. I've got to constantly remind myself to have fun. Because I'm very competitive.
Yes.
And I think that if you can stay in a happy medium where you're having fun but still caring, then it allows you to be more dynamic and do more things.
Oh, absolutely. And there are people out there like that. I am just not that guy.
Yeah. I feel like we're watching him right now, but I feel like Chico has that balance. He definitely wants to win, but the guy's having a blast.
He's having fun while he's doing it.
I'm more like you, Alan, and you saw me when we sparred in my gym. We're sparring with everybody. Like, I get sad like when people hit me too hard because like I just didn't like realize that was the game they thought we were playing.
Right.
I thought we were just having so much fun, and then somebody hits me too hard, and I'm like, damn. What happened?
So Chico's getting in there on Vince on this, talking about having fun. He is I'm not sure if this is a result of them fighting a lot, but it looks like Chico has that sort of I'm just out of your reach. I'm going to wait until you even feint for something. I'm going to hit that hilt.
Almost,
and then
almost
if you're
Big
not,
Brother.
Yeah. If not, I'm going to hit your hand, or I'm going to hit your head if you lean too far forward, sort of deal.
Ooh, I like that rising strike to the hilt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
yeah, Chico.
I don't know. Vince is eating them legs up though.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's going both directions here. It's just the fact that there's so much hilt on the pike is going toward Vince's detriment. Yeah. He's not like if he had I'm not sure if a shorter hilt would help with the pike, but I think just that darting in and out that he has, he just knows that Chico can also play that game and probably a little bit bigger stride for it.
I don't know if pike was the correct choice for Vince in that specific match. I don't know that it wasn't, but I would be curious to see that match again with maybe Vince with a great sword, or Vince with a Jarkai situation. I don't know if that's really something he does ever.
I don't think I've ever seen him do it.
Actually, I actually don't know if I have either, and I've watched a lot of your videos, been on a few, so I don't know that I've ever seen him do Jarkai either, but I'd be curious to see him with a great sword or a cross-guard saber in that one, just to redo it. But he still fought well. And not to say he didn't fight well.
Funny that Chico had thought that he lost that. He was surprised he won.
Yeah.
Do you have the scores there? How close was that fight?
It was not that close. So 13-point spread.
Okay. There you go.
Well, there you go, Chico. That'll just tell you what happens when you may think you're down, but you don't give up.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about this rule set is that you should fight until the end, even if you think you're losing, because you know what the judges see is what the judges see.
Correct. Yeah. Continuous is my preference for that reason as well. And it gives you a reason to stay engaged through the last second of the fight, as opposed to if I'm down 8 points and there's only 10 seconds left, like whatever, just throw these next 2 points away.
I believe this is so Alan versus Ryan. Is this for third place or is this just semifinals?
This is semifinals.
Semifinals, okay. And then we're gonna figure out who's gonna fight for third place after this. Oh,
It helps if I can hold on to my saber.
Yeah, auspicious start to the fight.
Now I'm curious to see, because you and Alan do not fight physically the same way, but you do, Jarkai, have the similar intentions when you engage. So I'm curious to see if Alan changes his strategy up against you. I'm assuming he will.
I think Alan is doing his game, which is basically ranging out,
and
then closing the distance,
manipulate the saber and enter.
Yeah. Also playing the game, right? Because a parry riposte is worth 3.
Yes. Yes.
So being able to
good block down
to
low,
do that, especially with a cross guard, the quillions do help on that.
Ryan, you got some fast strikes and he's blocking them. That's impressive.
He knows what he's doing.
You're hacking at him pretty quickly, and he's moving that long sword very fast. That's a compliment to you as well, because I thought for sure some of those were getting in.
Right.
Ooh, good stance too, Ryan. So if you're watching Ryan now, he's got his offhand saber a little bit farther forward in his quote-unquote resting stance. He doesn't really have much time to rest, but in his resting stance, his offhand saber is a little bit farther forward. I like that because it gives your strong hand a little bit of extra chambering space, a little bit of extra wind-up, but you can conceal it behind that defensive position of the red blade there. So I don't know if you picked that up on your own or if somebody taught you that, but that's a very smart, subtle tactic. Advanced. Ooh, there it is. And that's why you keep that offhand saber a little farther forward, because then it can become your attacking saber. Very well done. Good match. I might give it to you, Ryan, but I don't know. I have no clue.
It was close. Neither one of us knew.
Yeah.
You both took each other very seriously. Like every strike was kind of like, this one could hurt me. This one could hurt me, right? Like this one. So I like how you kind of took each other seriously and you entered and tested each other, but it wasn't like stupid just jumping into the fire.
Speaking of which, Ryan, you have 2 different length sabers, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you
the
definitely got
offhand
the Shoto
shorter.
saber. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It worked out well for you. Oh, see, there you go. I was wrong.
What was the point spread on that one?
6 points, and I think it was the lowest scoring match of the day.
That is very close too. 6 points, very close.
That's 1 parry riposte.
Yeah, that's true. I was just gonna say 1 or 2 exchanges. So that's another thing with the point fighting that we briefly touched on, but not with point fighting, with continuous fighting, with the way that the points work out, whether it's single points at a time or multiples for different targets, just how quickly the points can either spread or the gap can close because you don't really know, right? Like Ryan, you had mentioned, like it could go either way. Both fighters don't really understand what's happening until it's done. Like they're just kind of fighting, and they might have a little bit of an idea, but they're probably dead wrong.
Right.
and I love that aspect of it because, like with point fighting, sure, you can get good technique and you can have an exciting event or whatever and high energy fights, but it's just that it's kind of like football versus soccer to me. Soccer, the the game just goes and it just keeps going. And football, you got to take a McDonald's commercial break every 5 minutes. So I'm not much of a football fan though, so don't take my word for it. I'm biased.
So this is Vince, I believe against Chico. No, we already saw that one, didn't we?
Vincent, I for third place.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is the bronze medal match.
And actually, he and I have a rivalry with Pike, so this is actually for Pike Master as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh yes,
and it ends up being the highest scoring match of the entire day.
Is this your first match with the Pike, Ryan, or your second?
Is.
Okay, your first. That's what I thought. And is yours a little longer than Vince's? That's not a joke. I was just curious.
They are the same.
Okay.
He actually made both of them.
That was going to be my follow-up question. And
mine's aluminum though. His is carbon.
Right. How much heavier is yours?
It's super light.
Yeah.
What I liked about this fight is, if you want to hear it, is the trash talking in between every strike. There was because these guys will fight Pike all day long, and it was a chatty duel. And especially toward the end of the day, everybody was kind of punch drunk too. So even though this was
yikes,
the middle of the day.
Looks like he turned his mask a little on that one, Ryan. Ooh, a rising back strike there. Watch yourself, Vince. Ooh, slash to the neck, to the torso. Man, Ryan, you're eating him up a little bit. There we go, Vince. Come on now. Come back of the century.
Nice.
I like that you're both. I like that you're both using what would be the spine of a standard, like a naginata, the back edge. You're both using that very well. So I appreciate that. What the hell was that?
Gotta have fun, man. Might not have been the smartest idea, but it was fun. Alan understands.
I love it.
Nice. Again, at this point, you can see Courtney just like putting his hands on his face.
I know, man.
You can see I could see my smile from across the room. This is so much fun because you guys are just going for it, and I can hear the clicks going on in my hand. I'm like, this is going to be a very high scoring match.
Oh my gosh!
There it is.
Oh my gosh! Like a swarm of yellow jackets.
How often you walk out of a Pike match tired? You're both just like gassed.
Yep, it's great.
Oh. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go with Ryan, but close margin. And then Ryan's going to give me the real margin after that. We'll see if I'm right.
Right. There was not as many sudden death matches this day as we made Trip do the previous day.
Yeah.
We made him do a lot of sudden death matches.
All right. What do we got here?
Not on purpose. It just worked out that way.
What do we got here?
And
attention.
There it is.
All right, so I got the victor correct, but what was the spread, Ryan, on that one?
12 points.
12. Okay. So a little bigger, but still
49.
Yeah, still just a few exchanges at best.
Yep.
So very, very good, Vince. Very, very good. I like, for people just to put it into perspective, you're probably talking an average of 40 to 60 points for every fighter in every match. Now, some of those might be exceptionally low scoring, but I feel like a lot of those were probably in the 40 to 50 point range. Am I wrong about that?
It's normally the 30 to 40.
Okay, 30 to 40. So, 49 to 60 something. that's a fun spread, you know. That's a lot of points. But that's what I like about this continuous stuff, man. It can get so high scoring, or it can be a battle of the wills.
So this is so for gold and silver, we agreed it'd be best 2 out of 3 matches. And then Chico and Alan agreed to have different weapons.
Yes.
And then switch weapons the second
yes.
For the second match.
Yes.
And then if it went to a third, they'll go to a third weapon.
Yes.
Otherwise, you know.
Oh.
But it was very much a, all right, guys, this is the last match of the day. Let's have a ton of fun.
Oh.
And let's see if we can just, you know.
You're speaking to my soul.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love every Friday night in the Masters Club class, I would set out all the foam weapons, and just we would like rock paper scissors for them, or we would have somebody who wasn't fighting randomize them for us. Oh, so much fun to just get handed a weapon and thrown into the fire, man. So much fun. Love that you did.
Actually, just did a CS match in Florida last weekend, doing that against David Ladenschlager. And the first set that I pulled out was daggers versus standard. I was like, well, there goes the whole conservative energy thing.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of it, right? And especially just as somebody who, at this point now, Ryan, you've been a martial artist a long time, but you know, you do martial arts for a decent amount of time, and it's like taking all the toys out of the toy box and throwing them all over the room and letting mom freak out. It's great. Ooh, God, to be Alon right now, he must just, like, his butthole must be puckered all the way. Oh, nice move. Digging under like that. Beautiful job.
So Alon is fighting a little bit more of a style called Florentine. A 2-sword style, basically. He is basically fighting with 2 rapiers. So
a case of rapiers, if you will.
Yeah.
That is what the original Jarkai in lore, Star Wars lore, was based off of, was dual full-length rapiers, actually. Which is funny because most people who do Jarkai now, at least one of them will be a little shorter. But hey, he's working it. And they don't look like they're full-length, but still long.
Yeah, now he's switched into a different style.
Well done.
A little bit more side sword, and then he switches back.
He seems to have understood that Chico wasn't quite Chicoing him as hard as he usually does right off the bat. So he seems to have pushed back a little bit, and it worked. And now Chico might be catching on that he's out Chicoing him. It looked like Alon kind of thought, like, I'm going to give him a taste of his own little Chico medicine. And now he's backing out a little bit. You see a ring out. So it very, it was a smart from Alon to adjust like that. And like you said earlier, Alan, kind of doing what your opponent's doing to their detriment. Chico's
this is very much a fight of patience and going for the parry or pass more than just getting in to try to get points.
That was a brave fight by Alon. Like to come to that conclusion so early in the fight that he could press Chico a little bit. I haven't seen hardly anybody press Chico yet, except for like the really big people. And even some of them kind of let Chico dictate what was going to happen. So I'm curious to see how the next match goes. So Alon thought it was Chico, it looked like. But
it was 1 point difference.
What?
That's right.
Wow.
1 point.
Wow. Okay, so now they switch, which is a beautiful exchange. I just love to see that. That is so cool. So Alon probably trying to win this, but probably not going to be upset if he gets to fight another one. And then Chico trying to stay on the board here. I don't think I've ever seen Chico fight Jarkai.
It's not bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Chico's going basically to his normal set, just with an extra little bit of. And so you notice he's keeping the tip pointed at him.
Yes.
And then switching which tip is pointed at him.
Correct.
Because that's kind of how Chico plays. And then using his footwork to try to get the correct line on it.
Trying to throw Alon's position off. Because Chico can do that dance, but nobody else can do that dance with him.
All right. Here we go again.
Ooh.
So going through. Nice little butt slap there.
It would behoove Alan not to fall into Chico's trap here.
All right.
Not to lose his cool on Chico's trap, because Chico wants him to lose his cool and get sloppy.
Right. And Alon is holding ground here, just trying to get Chico to come in so he can do the parry post, but Chico's getting the correct lines here and there to get that in. And he's moving offline constully.
Fast swordsmanship.
That's some good blade work too.
Yep, I was just thinking that. Yep, very good blade work. Somebody just lose a tip. I saw. You know when you see that like little circle on the ceiling, it's like, crap, somebody lost a tip. You know, Chico is doing the right thing by moving his swords a lot. Alon is doing the right thing by not letting that fool him, because not all of those movements are actually danger, but Alon could fall for it and let them become dangerous, because he could just fall for blocking or committing to the wrong motion, and he's not. He's being as patient as he can be with that. So this is aside from the technical snafu, a high energy but sort of still calculated. And I don't want to say Chico doesn't calculate, but I'm not used to seeing the calculation take place, and I'm kind of watching it take place right now, which is cool. It's an evolution of him.
Well, he's in fight in the middle of it. I don't think it's something that is I guess it's not articulated so much as it's instinctual.
Yeah.
So, and that just goes to, the dedication in his training and being able to, also be athletically gifted in being able to do certain things.
Yeah, it was a couple of good counters there by Alon.
Willing to do some stuff as well.
So Alon's got a couple of really good sneaky counters that you might not have seen if you weren't catching them. But this match in particular might be worth watching at a slower speed on YouTube. Right. Some of that stuff was really, really small to see, but a big impact in the overall fight. So very cool. So do we get a third round? No spoilers. We'll find out.
Right. At this point, Chico raises. They
Chico
both raise
thinks
each
so.
hands.
Alon thinks so. Nobody knows.
Yeah. So we're basically waiting for Courtney to call it here, because again, well fought matches. They're both doing really good. And it's best 2 out of 3.
Oh my gosh, we get a third match. Here we go. Okay, so what are the weapon choices now?
I think they go to Pikes.
They go to Pikes.
Pikes on
after
Pikes.
this.
That's a fitting
Pike
end
versus Pike.
that they have the same weapon, but a different weapon than they had both chosen before. So that's a fitting end.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen them do Saber Staff against Saber Staff, but
yes.
Oh yeah.
The Pikes are there. So
now I don't believe I've seen Alon fight with a true Pike before. So even in some of his Saber Legion stuff, I don't believe I've seen it. That doesn't mean he hasn't done it, but I don't believe I've seen him do it.
Pike on Pike in Vegas this year.
Okay. And so that should be fun for me. I've seen Chico use the Pike in a couple different situations, but I know it's not his, or at least I don't think it's his preferred weapon.
It is.
It is his preferred weapon. Okay. So there we go.
I was like, you can be my apprentice. We're going to do this. And it's pretty much made for how you fight anyway. So let's go.
How come he didn't choose to use it during this whole event then?
We'll do different things.
Yep.
He also doesn't like the fact that you can hit the hilt in the Saber Light Knight rule set.
Well, get over it, Chico. Life's tough.
He actually prefers crossguard for mixed weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I like crossguard. I think it's got a fun feel to it. It's got a cool balance to it. Just from a swordsmanship perspective, I don't really care about from the competition standpoint. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but from a swordsmanship standpoint, I really enjoy wielding the crossguard sabers. It's a lot of fun. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go.
So the saber pike being the equalizer here. And the fact that both gentlemen are about as athletic as you can be.
Yep. Left-handed versus right-handed pike, too.
Oh, I didn't notice that. You're right about that. Yeah. Alon's standing in a bit of a southpaw position, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Going in for the back leg, even. This is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just following through.
Well, Chico's doing well. If you see those small circles right there,
yep,
it's an excellent guard with the pike because you only have to move the backhand maybe an inch, and you're getting 4 to 6 inches on the front end of that.
That's right. Listen to that again, people. You only have to move the back end. You don't really have to do much with the front. Shortcuts. Lots and lots of shortcuts. Seemed like Vince had shortcuts, but it seemed like a lot of Vince's cuts were a little bit bigger in their arcs. And you and Chico seem to be a little bit more, not stabbing, but stabby. It's just a slight difference. I don't think either one is better or worse. They've worked out for everybody so far. Yeah, you can see Chico's used the pike before. And I agree. It seems to be made for him a little bit.
He's got the perfect thrust. He came with that.
Yeah, and it matches his footwork. He's got very linear footwork, or at least his feet align linearly more than some others, but he maintains the balance well, especially with the pike, because that line is able to reinforce the other. Uh-oh, tricky dicky Alon here.
And now notice that
he's choked up on the back end a little bit.
Yeah, he's fighting a little bit of a shorter game now, as the timer clocks out.
That was a curious match.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alan, I know
yes.
you've judged 1.5 million continuous fights in all styles of martial arts, whatever. But just coming into this rule set this way this year, how was it judging?
Oh, it was excellent. I mean, everybody was on it. I don't think there was any like crazy discrepancies at all. Mm-hmm. Everybody was kind of agreed on things, and like I said, there's like 1 or 2 exchanges.
Yeah.
On some of those closer fights, if you just do the math, it's like, okay, that's a parry riposte. Okay, that's maybe 2 parry ripostes, or maybe one of those
And
things.
Chico takes gold, Alon takes
takes the
silver.
gold. Yeah.
Well, when
they did a really good job as well. The fighters in all this, I believe every single person was super honorable as far as like, no, I didn't get hit or I didn't hit them. It was very, very well done.
Well,
and that's a sign that Saber Light Knights, Courtney, Ryan, you guys are doing the right thing and getting the right people involved.
When you
Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more, first of all. And you guys have known that for years now that you guys have been one of our biggest proponents for a long time, and vice versa. But I just from, I've been watching martial arts a long time, but it's been easy to watch this event. As somebody who has never seen a saber fight before, I can imagine it wouldn't be too difficult to bite into this and kind of see what you're dealing with. I think continuous fighting, though it seems a little more hectic and messy, I think it's actually a lot easier for the novice spectator to pick up on, because they can kind of get the story of the fight a little better, if that makes sense.
It's also a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just more dynamic.
The point gets real dull real quick.
It does.
So this adds a little bit more to it.
As a fighter, you can understand how, semantically speaking, the saber tag, as we call it, the point after point, it can be good for you as a fighter to kind of develop skills and speed and reaction time and stuff like that. But it also can just make you lazy, make you sloppy, make you do one thing all the time. It's not really like conducive to developing a style, if you will, because you don't really have time to ramp yourself up physically in any of these exchanges. When you have a continuous fight, you have no choice but to ramp up, because you got 3 minutes and nobody's going to say stop unless something breaks. So for the spectators, yeah, just the energy level, man, from second 1 to second, what is that? 180. I just think it's been fun to watch, and I've seen a lot of different continuous rule sets, and not just saber fighting, but sword fighting as well. And this was a very clean rule set, very so annoying to see judges get together in one match more than one time to have a huddle, right, about who scored what point or blah blah blah. Like, there was none of that crap at all that I could tell. And I think Courtney mentioned maybe like there was 1 or 2 times where he had to ask people what they thought. But like, it was so fast I didn't even realize it happened.
Right.
Nobody had to unpack their lunch to discuss it. So I thought that's a really important thing for people to, if they're running an event, to hear that people don't want to sit around waiting the whole time for anything. They don't want to wait for fighters. They don't want to wait for judges. They don't want to wait for timekeep. They don't want to wait. And in a sport as young and as niche as ours, we don't want to make people wait. We want to give them the best of us the whole time they're there. So I think that's what you guys did, because for 2 hours just now, the action didn't really stop.
Right.
So very cool. Well done, Ryan and Courtney and everybody. I mean, all the fighters, Vince, and Chico, and Alon, you guys who medaled and pedestal or podiumed, if you will. All the people that we mentioned and if we said something, by the way, that you didn't like, I don't want to say I'm sorry, because I don't think we did say anything bad, but like, if you took some constructive criticism poorly, like, feel free to like reach out to us. Hey, what did you mean by that? Or, I tell this story sometimes. Sloan from San Diego Sabers, I had said something on a live stream one time before I'd met him. And then I went out to San Diego a couple of weeks after, and he had listened to the show, and he was like, what did you mean by that? Like, he's a little mildly offended. And then we ended up becoming like really good friends over the next 5 minutes because we had a real discussion about like what I was talking about. It's like, oh my, yeah, I see what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, by the way, I may have been a little bit of a dick when I said it. So I apologize. Right. So we just had that moment. And I think, if you guys are watching and you were a fighter and you want to reach out to us, please do. sabermaoutreach@gmail.com. If you want to watch some of your fights with us sometime, let us know. It's something we can maybe work out. But otherwise, reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree or disagree with what we said about you, or if you're just a happy listener. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the Saberlight Knights YouTube channel. If you're in the Virginia area, check out their classes in Charlottesville and Virginia Beach, correct?
Yep, we got Virginia Beach now, and we've got an affiliate school, the Freedom Fighters, near Stanton.
Right. Okay. So you guys can find Saberlight Knights at saberlightnights.com or on the Saber Martial Arts page, sabermartialarts.life. Saberlight has their own section in our affiliate schools, and that'll take you right to their contact information as well. So you can get their stuff. You can get our stuff, subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Instagram, all the stuffs, Patreon we have now. You can get some private lessons through us, all the stuff, and physical lessons in Virginia with Saberlight Knights. So thank you again, Ryan, for making that available for everybody and for jumping on with us 2 weeks in a row now. Nobody knows about last week. Nobody will know about last week. But thank you anyway, and for taking the time out of your 30-hour day to hang with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We'll have to have you back on more often. We haven't had Courtney on in a while either. So now that we're doing the May event too, Alan, hopefully some of these Virginia cats will be out there for May the 4th. So we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you the same thing I told Courtney. We're trying to sweeten the deal by having Sensei Mike Yamasaki and Sensei K take us to go
dojo touring
to a dojo tour the day before and do some tatana cutting, tamashigiri stuff. So that would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So that awesome. Is out there for you. So that'd be great if you were there.
And I would love to.
If you're listening, please check out all the stuff that we mentioned, but come to a Saber event. If it's not one of ours, well, I'm sorry, that sucks. But no, in all seriousness, anything, like if you're feeling the need to get off your butt a little bit, martial arts is, in my opinion, the best way. Because it's not a team sport. The progress is personal. The accomplishments are personal, but you do feel the support of a team because it does take a team to build the house, so to speak, when it comes to martial arts. And you'll not only all of that awesome stuff, but you're gonna get a little more physically fit. And if you find a lightsaber martial art around you, you're gonna have that much fun too. So I encourage everybody, as always, to get involved somehow. Go to a gym, go to a dojo, go to a kun, go to the local HEMA club, whatever, fencing, and just try it out. See if it doesn't make you smile a little bit and change your life for a little bit for the better. So with that, we say thank you to Saberlight again. Everybody, bring your own saber.
This party's over.